How a WWE character evolves can make or break their career, which is something we all know. In the past, we've seen boring characters evolve into some of the best of all time, but what could we learn from them? As at one point, the roster was flourishing with great characters that showed substance and showcased valuable life lessons, like John Cena. In 2002, John Cena was the prototype, which in my opinion wasn't going to be a gimmick that lasted long. Also, he had some of the weakest cuts that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know who told him those were a good idea or who allowed him to walk out like that, but whoever did, they need to get slapped up a couple times. But luckily, by the time he debuted, he rebranded and looked somewhat decent. His career got off to a great start when he almost defeated Kurt Angle, and then he would go on to beat Chris Jericho at Vengeance. But after that, everything went downhill. He wasn't doing anything special. He showed up in some of the most generic creator wrestler from SVR outfit that you could find, and he got slapped by Test, of all people. By the end of the year, he was on the chopping block. WWE planned on getting him up on out of there. He was going to be up there with Shawn Stasiak on Forgotten WWE Superstars. But on the European tour, he heard Rikishi and Ray rapping at the back of the bus, and realizing that he could freestyle, he decided to join them. And he went off. He impressed everybody, especially Stephanie McMahon. And from that point on, his career was only going up. He was in a WWE Championship match at a pay-per-view 6 months later. He made his own theme song. He was roasting his opponents week after week, and this was gaining him fans week after week along the way. He turned face, won his first title at WrestleMania 20. He iced out his belt. He got a chain, and this attracted all the hoes. Eventually, he get another shot at the main title. WrestleMania 21 versus JBL for the WWE Championship. He won, and at that point, he could say he made it. From getting fired to winning the championship is the biggest comeback story in pro wrestling history. The life lesson that John Cena taught us was to put yourself out there. Do something out of your comfort zone. Do that thing you always wanted to do, because you never know what could come out of it. One decision could easily change your whole life. Had Cena sat back and watched Ray and Rikishi freestyle, we really wouldn't be able to see him. But this wasn't the only life lesson that WWE taught us. Another life lesson we learned was through Mark Henry. Mark Henry is the world's strongest man, legitimately. But for a good portion of his career, WWE treated him like the world's biggest loser. Guys backstage contaminated his sandwich with poop. He tried to fight back, but then he got punished by being sent down to developmental. He fathered a hand that had no melanin in it, so he might not even be the dad for real. By the beginning of 2011, Mark Henry had enough, and since he couldn't earn their respect, he was gonna beat it out of them. After turning heel at the 2011 draft, Mark Henry originally planned to be more aggressive, but on June 3rd, 2011, everything changed, as Mark Henry had a dark match with Sin Cara, but in reality, it was a prank, and this got Mark mad. He went to the backstage and started tearing things up. It was at that moment that instead of just being more aggressive, he was going to start taking people out and start out his hall of pain. So the first order of business was to take out the biggest guy in the yard, the Big Show. So they had a match set up against each other on SmackDown, but before the match started, Big Show was crying. Grown man, 400 pounds out there crying on live television. But Mark Henry was coming to the ring. But before he could get in, Big Show spazzed on him and started beating him down and knocked him out, and Mark had to get stretchered out of the ring. Now, Mark couldn't go out sad like that. He had to get his get back. If he didn't do anything, it would mess up the whole plan. So at Capital Punishment, he got his get back by giving Big Show a world's strongest slam through the table. The following SmackDown, Big Show would try to make an apology, be like, "Oh, Mark Henry, you were just at the wrong place at the wrong time." But Mark Henry was not having none of that. He went and attacked Big Show backstage, and then attacked Big Show in a steel cage match on Raw, putting Big Show through the steel cage. He wanted all the smoke. Fast forward to the July 1st episode of SmackDown, Mark Henry was in a match with Randy Orton. During the match, Big Show's music plays, but it was a fake out, and this cost him the match. Mark Henry was not having it. He was tired of people playing with him. He was tired of people playing with his name. So he went over to the person responsible for the situation in the production crew. He went over there, smashed all his stuff, then threw him into the abyss. He was putting everybody on notice. Like, he was basically saying, you can't play these games with me that you played with before. I'm a new person now, and I'm not gonna take that disrespect. Y'all gonna respect me whether y'all want to or not. So at Money in the Bank, Mark Henry and Big Show face off, where Mark Henry breaks Big Show's leg and he gets him up on out of there. We don't see him for months. And not too long after, Mark Henry breaks Kane's leg and he gets him up on out of there too. So at this point, everybody's scared of Mark Henry. Nobody wants to fight him. They have to get a McDonald's employee to come fight him, and Mark Henry packed him up too. So at this point, it was looking like Mark Henry was on top. But then Sheamus came out. Sheamus was a well-known tough guy, probably the toughest guy in the yard, who was always up for a fight, but none of that mattered because he ended up getting beat down too. By the end of August 2011, Mark Henry's momentum was at an all-time high, and he continued on into a battle royal where he would win it and become the #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. At Night of Champions, Mark Henry would win the World Heavyweight title, and it was that night that his respect would be solidified. They had no choice. He was the world champion. You had to respect him. He beat the biggest guy in the yard, the most demonic guy in the yard, the toughest guy in the yard, and the face of SmackDown to win the world title. And the life lesson here is sometimes you need to beat people up to earn respect. It shouldn't be your first course of action, but if all else fails, why not? So, in summary, evolving is a thing everybody should do because staying complacent, staying stagnant could lead to unfulfilling, unhappy life. So stop being lazy and go do something.